4 years ago, I decided to start a business, but that was not a restaurant. For those of you who don't know who I am, I've been working as a chef for the last over a decade. I started my cooking career, culinary career in a restaurant as a dishwasher, not as a kitchen helper back in Singapore. That was over 10 years ago. That was like 2014, 2013, something like that. And then till now, I'm still working in a restaurant as a chef. So I have like plenty of experience of running a kitchen, running operations and managing a restaurant. And then during COVID, I decided to. During COVID, I realized that this is not like this. I can't sustain my life like this, and I believe everyone, most of the people out there who realized that, who learned the lesson during COVID, that while they're getting laid off and they lose their jobs and everything, and I believe that most people, as we see on YouTube, a lot of people, they realize that they can't just sustain their life while having a full-time job, and I think that was the point where this whole thing got triggered, that everyone started having their side hustle, like quit 9 to 5 kind of thing. And they all start doing this kind of drop shipping, agency businesses and all that. And actually I was one of them. I got triggered and I realized that just having a full-time job like that can't really sustain my life. Fortunately, I was in Canada and I just got my government pension, government benefits. They just gave me all that money for me to survive, basically. But I just, I'm a type of person who just can't stay on bed and just doing nothing. So after like 2 months of doing nothing during that COVID, during that lockdown, I just started working again. I just went out to work in shitty small restaurants. So but anyways, yeah, that was the time when I realized that having a full-time job, just relying my paycheck, just relying my financial situation on a company is not kind of sustainable, and this is something that I gotta fix. It's a very long-term plan, but I told myself that I need to fix this. So that's why when during COVID I started doing all this kind of little side hustles, but the only difference is that I didn't just start things to make instant money. I started things to build my skills first. So during that time, I decided to start my photography, videography as a hobby. So I was working like Monday to Friday, like, was it 4 to 11 or something? I was a closer back then of a restaurant. Fortunately, that was like Monday to Friday shift. So I had my weekends off. So I just created like projects for weekends. Like I would call people, like, my friends, like, hey, you want to take a photo? You want to take a video? Like, so I would like call all my friends who are like girls who are like interested in taking photos and videos, and eventually, like a couple months later, I got good at my skills. I got good at my photography, my videography skills. I started taking my some wedding videos, wedding projects, some commercial videos. That was how I got into all this like video and creative businesses. And even that time, I was kind of thinking like this is not my main thing, right? I've been cooking for my whole life. Like if I were to start a business, it should be a food related business. Like whatever. It can be a private chef, right? Or it can be a restaurant, or even it can be a food truck, right? But just like the reason why I just didn't start my restaurant back then was simply I just didn't have the money. So like I had a couple cameras. Cameras just like easy to buy when you have a full-time job. Just save couple $100 a month, and a couple months later you can just buy like a $3,000, $4,000 camera, which is like a top like professional grade camera, like you can buy at like 3 to 4 grand. That's what I actually did. So I had like 2 professional cameras, and that was like more than enough gear, equipment for me to just start charging people for works, right? Because I didn't have that capital to invest to open a large restaurant. So that's why I started. Because I was struggling to get clients, to get customers for my video and photography business, I had to start learning about how marketing and sales work. Because even for freelancer, even for those contractor business, service business, acquiring clients, having clients is all that matters. And yes, of course, like even same for food, like the quality matters, like the taste matters, how it tastes, interior design, the plate, everything matters. But even when it comes to service business, the offer matters, the marketing matters, the service matters. Yes, the service quality, the types of video, the types of photo that I took mattered, but I realized after years and years of practice, I realized that it's all about marketing and sales in the end. So after learning that lesson, I had to learn about like marketing and sales like in like a proper properly, like professionally, not just Googling some marketing insights and information and watching some YouTube videos. Like not like that. I actually had to properly learn it. That's how I got into my next journey, which was marketing and advertising. So I had to, so after like 2 or 3 years of providing my photo and video services to people, I changed my business model to like marketing agency model, which even that time the marketing agency business was like already dying, because marketing agency business were viral business model back in 2020, like 2019, 2018, something like that, during COVID time. But I started my agency in like 2022, something like that. So it was already too late. It was already saturated. Too many people were doing. But I kind of didn't listen to those kind of things because I started for a reason, for a purpose, because I wanted to learn marketing skill and advertising skill. And then, you know, during this whole journey that I learned, obviously, like even not only me, even anybody were in my shoes, they would have learned the same thing as me, as I did, which was, you know, if you run service business, like those local service business, it can be a cleaning business or like a video service business like me, or even a marketing agency like me, you learn about business. Like even you run a restaurant, even you learn a e-commerce business, like whatever type of business you run, like 2 or 3 years later, you just have no choice but to learn about business in a deep level. And then you realize that, oh, it's like everything matters. It's not just about one thing. Like people, like you see all those people like gurus on YouTube that telling you that this golden nugget is what matters in your business, but actually it's not. And most people who actually have seen some certain amount of success in businesses, they, like you guys might relate to this, but everything in business matters. Even every small little things. Like your creative, your marketing, your sales, your operation. If it's e-commerce, your supply chains. If you're a restaurant, same thing goes, like your supply chains, you're managing people, human resource, training, interior design, how you design your kitchen, how this workflow is set up in the first place, your standard operation procedures. Every single thing matters. Like even location, how the banners look, how your brand design, how your logos look, how you design your customer experience. Every single thing matters. I learned the same thing, but what I was really lucky was that I didn't have to pay millions of dollars and lose millions of dollars to learn that lesson. The reason why, even in the first place, even in this video, why I named this video as I would never open a restaurant as my first business, is because no matter what business, like from my experience and according to many other entrepreneurs that I know around me, is that no matter what kind of businesses you own, you run, in the end, you're gonna learn the same lesson. Like there is a lesson that people learn at their second year, third year, fourth year. Just like cooking. Like if you're a chef, your first, second year, you probably will learn just like many fundamentals when it comes to cooking, like your knife skills, sharpening knife, ingredients, food science, learning how to use a pan, controlling heat, controlling fire, like grills, stove tops, your frying pans, your fryers, and all those equipment. Like you learn all those fundamentals, and probably you get into third and fourth and fifth year, then you actually, you know, get used to combining all these two flavors, creating your own dish, learning the operations, learning how to work fast, and like there's a step to everything, right? Like my experience, business is the same. There are lessons that you learn at a certain level. Same thing, like running an agency, running a video service business, running a cleaning business, running a restaurant, running a food truck. There are like common lessons that people learn at their second, third, fourth year of businesses, which is just like what I mentioned, like everything matters. And like marketing, sales is what actually like decides the revenue size when it comes to restaurant. Also location branding is what decides. Most of the time it decides the revenue size of the business, and revenue is just a number, and later on the profit margin is what matters in the end, and how the way you design your operations, the way how you run the operations is what decides the profit margin in the end. It's not about your product, like whatever. The supply chain, yes, everything is fall under operations. So how you manage and run that operation decides your profit margin in the end, and the marketing and sales part decides your revenue. Long story short, those are the things that you're gonna learn during those business journey. My point is, if you're gonna learn the same lesson, if you're gonna go through the same process and learn the same lesson, why would you waste $1 million of money and learn the same lesson? Like that was my thought. Like if I were to learn the similar types of lesson, if I were to suffer anyways, if I were to, you know, sleep 4 hours a day and work all day long, if I were to go through the same process as everybody else, then why would I can waste my time, right? I think like those people, even like a lot of, you know, people who I respect, entrepreneurs who I, you know, admire, like Alex Hormozi and all those people, they say it's either you learn with money, you learn with time. But especially when you're your early 20s, your mid 20s, you're just starting out and you don't have money, but you have no choice but to spend your time and learn learn the lessons. And I think that was exactly me. I didn't have money, so I just had no choice but to spend my time and learn the lessons. So as everybody else, if I were to spend something and learn the same lesson, why would I spend millions of dollars and learn the same lesson? I would rather spend, right, 3 to 4 years of my time to learn the lesson. For me, I personally feel like if you have minus $100,000 in your bank versus you feel like you just wasted 3 years of your time, if I were to like think about that, like I would rather waste 3 years of my time, because in the end, the time is not about waste. No matter what you do, what I do in my life, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's all experience and that's all the lessons, that's all the wisdom that I learned. But money is just like number, and if it's like negative 100,000 in my bank account, I have no clue on how to fucking fix that. Right? I think about that right now. Like if I imagine myself, if I have $100,000 of loan or like minus $100,000 in my bank account, like $1 million debt loan, I personally can't imagine how am I gonna fix that. But then if I imagine myself, if I have to work at a Dollarama, which people think that is a waste of time, if I have to work there for the next 2 years, I'm okay with that, because learning is having an experience, and taking any types of experience around me as a lesson, as a wisdom, is all about my mindset. It's up to my mindset and up to my it's my choice in the end. That's my personal belief when it comes to dealing with my life. So I would rather spend time to learn stuff, not money. That was like the whole idea behind why 4 years ago I decided to start a business, but in the end it wasn't a restaurant. It was first it was video agency. It was a freelancer videographer, and then after that I started getting clients and it grew to video agency, and then I struggled to get clients and customers, so I started a marketing agency because I wanted to learn how to market and advertise. That's how I get clients to like, hey, let me do your Facebook ads, let me just help you do your Instagram branding, running ads, let me just help you get those like Google ads. So I got really lucky enough to like work on those really big amount projects as a marketing agency. As like it's not like a whole gigantic marketing agencies where they work over like $1 million worth of projects, but then realistically, if you're a marketing freelancer or a small agency, you would typically work with those projects that cost roughly between $500 to $1,500, because if you realistically, if the budget goes over that $1,500, $2,500 a month, they would rather build an internal team. Before, yes, like there was Iman Gaji generation back then, like when he was first building those marketing agency, like back in 2016, 2017, marketing agencies would typically work on those $1 million projects only. So yes, those smaller agencies, which those gurus preach, were able to work on those $5,000, $10,000 projects. But now, even business owners are getting smarter and smarter. Even now, I'm starting my e-commerce business, and now I'm even like, because I know how to do everything, I'm doing everything internally. Like if I imagine other business owners out there, e-commerce, like whatever, if they were to find a marketing person, they would not really find an agency, small agency, unless they're like grew to gigantic company and they were to hire an agency to do a specific project. They would rather build an internal team. Like if they have to go through all this like meetings and scammers and all that, like even me, I would rather build an internal team. So like I was fortunate enough to work on those like $500 projects, $1,500 projects. I was kind of successful to like build my clients' Instagram to like 100K count, increasing their like Facebook ads ROI to like 3 times, 4 times by simply changing the creatives and learning. And during the lesson, I learned how like what kind of creatives, what kind of contents, what kind of videos will work, and how to run ads, what actually matters in the meta ads, what actually matters in the Google ads, how to set up all this Google analytics and how to read those analytics, and all those lessons was so valuable. Like that was, and yeah, basically that was the whole idea why I just didn't start my first business as a restaurant. And now at this point, I'm like, if I can do everything, like I have the ability to like call those people, this video people to work on this certain project, especially like if you run a business, like you can reduce costs for everything, right? So if I were to run a video project, I can reduce the cost for a video project. So like I can do everything. I can make contents. Like I can make good contents. Like when it comes to like TikTok and Instagram, I just don't really do it for myself. I just do for I just do good work for clients. Anyways, like if I can make good contents, I can run ads, I can do marketing. Especially I have still now I'm working full time in a restaurant chef. Like if I understand restaurant operations, I understand the supply chain, how to how those manufacture processes work, how to manage this whole large team. If I know everything, now probably is the right time to start a restaurant business. But I still recently didn't decide to start a restaurant. I decided to start a food product e-commerce business. So I'm in the process of building it, like creating it, not like growing it. Like the brand I haven't launched yet. I haven't launched the brand yet. I'm still building a supply chain network. I'm still building this logistics solutions. Still testing out those products. We are just in that process. But yes, the point is, restaurant business is this is for you if you guys are kind of thinking to build a restaurant for like now or in the future. As a person who understands deeply about those restaurant business in a deep level, because we also work a lot on the financials. Like even I work as a chef, we know a lot of those restaurant financials, right? Because we look at those annual budget and those cost statements to design our operations and to set up a plan, to set up a roadmap for the next year or for the next month or even like bi-weekly basis. Technically we work in a corporate restaurant, so we kind of do that all the time. So we understand like restaurant financials. So I, as a person who understands the restaurant financials, like I don't really think it's a good investment I don't think it's a good decision personally. I don't think it's a good choice to start restaurant as a first business if in the end like your first two business is going to fail. I knew that because like some like my senior entrepreneurs, like they have given me advice, your second business is going to fail no matter what you do. If that's true, why would I risk it so much, right? If the restaurant costs at least like, especially like Toronto, I don't like in Asia, if you're in like Thailand, Vietnam, South Korea, China, all these regulations, this money itself, even like those government funding, like you have a lot of ways to open a restaurant with a significantly low cost, something like $30,000, $50,000. You can start a small restaurant like without a loan, I guess, without a loan, yes. But in Canada, like if you're living in Toronto and then like or like any other cities that have like high living standards, like a lot of cities in US, in order to even start a food like a professional restaurant, you need at least close to $1 million to open a proper restaurant. So like if like I'm also living in Canada, like I wouldn't, if I were in Asia, like maybe I would make that choice, but as a person who's living in Canada, strategically it's not really a good option to start, right? I think Canada, like US or in Canada, I think it's a really good place to lock ourselves in and then start something like a business that is related to that relies heavily on marketing and branding. Because like for example, like restaurant or factory, for example, manufacturer factories, they don't really rely on marketing and branding. They rely on the manufacturer and the operations and the products. Like those factories don't fucking advertise, right? They focus on creating those products in a mass production level and finding few clients that need those mass production products. So what I mean by like those businesses that heavily rely on marketing and branding is something like e-commerce businesses or like real estate businesses. I think those kind of businesses are like not like I'm not saying it's like I'm recommending, it's like I'm not like recommending those, like what I mean by like those in terms of like business model itself, I think it's like a good business to learn in US and Canada. In Asia, food is everywhere. Everyone has access to food. So it's like we typically say food business is a very good business to learn in Asia. I think in Western society, US, Canada, I don't think like manufacturer business, I don't think a restaurant business is a good business to actually start and even learn. So even like a lot, there are like few reasons why I chose not to open a restaurant, and those were the few reasons. Like those were like very strategic reasons why I didn't decide to start a restaurant business in living in Toronto, which I first started with, again, video agency, marketing agency, and now I'm starting my e-commerce business, food e-commerce business. And I personally think it is a really like step-by-step move, learning experience, gaining experience, and now e-commerce, I'm ready to like make some cash flow, actually learn about like real marketing and branding when it comes to e-commerce, and later on I want to expand that to restaurant. Honestly, like my business goal, my business dream is to build a solid restaurant group around the world. So in the end, like eventually I'm gonna own multiple restaurants as an entrepreneur, and down the road I'm gonna share all my journey with you guys. If I have to share any ideas, if I have to share any insights, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, if those of you who are watching this video or listening to this podcast, I don't want you to misunderstand that like restaurants like you should never start a restaurant business. Like I love restaurants. I love being in a restaurant. I love being in a kitchen, and I love restaurant as a business model itself as well. So that's why I love it too much. I go to restaurants all the time. I stay in restaurants all the time. I love it too much. That's why I can confidently say, because I understand the whole back end story so well, that I don't really recommend it as a first business. Like, I would do it later on when you have, like, when I have a good amount of capital, good amount of skills, good amount of knowledge when it comes to real estate, branding, interior design, food, customer experience, and supply chain management, logistics. Once the time comes when I have a really good understanding of managing and all those areas of professions, I would definitely start a restaurant business, and I would definitely grow the business to a restaurant group level, and that is my business goal. Yeah, so I hope this video was helpful. If you guys are watching till the end, thank you very much. If any of you who's watching this video, if you're in a business journey, if you're as well as an entrepreneur, or if you're whoever, you're a food related person, you're a chef, you are a pastry baker, whatever, and you're thinking of starting your own business, my advice to you is don't limit yourself. Even though you're a chef, you can start a marketing agency. If you're a baker, you can definitely start a video agency. Like, don't really limit yourself when it comes to opening a business, because business is also, yes, have to be like, it has a lot to do with your personal professions, but also there are many people out there who are successful running a business that has nothing to do with their original professions. They're a chef and running a fucking, I don't know, like furniture business. Like there are a lot of people out there, like some like weird stories out there, like what kind of stories? Like, so my advice to you, like my personal experience watching all those people out there, is that don't really limit yourself when it comes to ideas, your potential. I think I always try to stay curious. I always try to explore the world, explore what's out there, and try to just put some knowledge inside my brain. That's why I never smoke, I never drink, I never go out with my friends. I don't really like enjoy partying and drinking, playing games, watching movies, and I don't really enjoy all of that. Everything I do outside of work is related to work. Even doing that, I feel I'm lack of time. I don't have enough time. So yeah, I mean, whoever, you guys are similar journey with me, don't limit yourself, work hard, as well as me, right? Including myself. I believe that eventually we're going to be there. We're going to get there, wherever that could be, because I believe my potential. I hope you guys do believe in yourself too.